Gentlemen, there's a weapon every man has, but almost none know how to use. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require muscles. It doesn't even require words. It's silence. Silence is the most underestimated form of power men possess. Why? Because it doesn't look like power. It feels too quiet, too passive, too simple. But that's exactly why it's so devastating. See, most men believe their way to win with women, or in relationships in general, is through communication. They think if they just say the right words, if they just explain their side clearly enough, if they just argue their point, then surely they'll be understood. That's the lie. Women aren't moved by words. They are moved by emotions. And silence, when used with control and discipline, creates an emotional impact so strong that no speech, no lecture, no paragraph of texts could ever compete. Why men fail without silence? Look around. Men ruin themselves in arguments every day. A woman accuses him, and he scrambles to defend. She pulls away, and he chases harder. She tests him, and he explains endlessly. Every one of those reactions feels natural in the moment, but every one of them gives her power. Because here's the truth. Women thrive on attention. Attention is oxygen. It fuels their ego, their sense of importance, their validation. And most men, they don't even realize how much oxygen they're pouring into the fire. When you argue, you feed her. When you beg, you feed her. When you explain, you feed her. Even if she's angry with you, even if she disagrees, your energy tells her one thing. You're still invested. You're still affected. You're still under her control. That's why she provokes arguments. That's why she creates drama. That's why she tests your patience. Because as long as you're reacting, she knows she matters. Silence flips the script. But silence takes that oxygen away. It starves the fire. When you stop reacting, you rob her of her favorite weapon, your emotions. Suddenly she can't measure you. She can't read you. She can't predict you. And that uncertainty is more powerful than any words you could say. Because when you argue, she knows exactly where you stand. When you beg, she knows she still controls you. When you explain, she knows she still has you. But when you go silent, she's left with nothing but her imagination. And here's the secret. Her imagination is far crueler than reality. The torture of the unknown. In your silence, she starts to wonder. Did he stop caring? Is he with someone else? Did I push him too far? Has he moved on completely? And because she can't confirm or deny any of it, those questions eat at her. They replay in her mind when she's lying in bed, when she's scrolling her phone, when she's pretending not to care. And that torment, that storm inside her head, was created by silence. You didn't argue. You didn't explain. You didn't lift a finger. And yet, silence said more than words ever could. Silence as protection. Now let me be clear. Silence is not about punishment. It's about protection. Every time you argue with a woman who's trying to manipulate you, you lose. Every time you beg a woman who's pulling away, you lose. Every time you explain yourself to someone who's already decided how she feels, you lose. Silence protects you. It removes you from the battlefield. It keeps your energy for yourself. It keeps you from fighting unwinnable wars. It says, I will not play your game. I will not dance to your rhythm. I will not feed your chaos. And in doing nothing, you do everything. Because silence starves her of the one thing she can't live without. Your energy. The mirror of silence. Think of silence as a mirror. When you speak, she can twist your words. She can shift blame. She can make herself the victim. But when you go silent, there's nothing to twist. Nothing to deflect. Nothing to fight against. She's forced to face herself, to hear her own words echo back in the quiet. And more often than not, she won't like what she sees. That's when she begins to chase. Not because you demanded it, but because your silence exposed the emptiness of her own behavior. Silence builds respect. This is where men get it wrong. They think respect can be argued into existence. They think if they just explain enough, defend enough, or talk long enough, she'll see their value. It never works. You can't talk a woman into respecting you. Respect is not built with words. Respect is built with restraint. When you stay calm and unmoved in silence, you communicate discipline. You communicate strength. You communicate mastery over yourself. And every woman, no matter what she says, respects the man she cannot provoke. Because the man she cannot provoke is the man she cannot control. And the man she cannot control is the man she remembers. The obsession silence creates. Here's the part most men overlook. Silence doesn't just end drama, it plants obsession. When you withdraw your voice, your validation, your attention, you create a vacuum. And women cannot stand a vacuum. Their minds rush to fill it with doubts, with fears, with insecurities. Why isn't he replying? Is he really done with me? Who else has his attention? And the longer you remain silent, the stronger that storm becomes. Her imagination will torment her far more than your anger ever could. That's why silence lingers in her memory long after your words have been forgotten. Scarcity creates value. Silence also flips the chase. When you're always available, always responsive, always explaining, there's no mystery. She knows where you stand. She knows she owns your attention. But silence creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. Suddenly, your energy isn't guaranteed. Your attention isn't free. Your presence isn't predictable. And in a world where men throw themselves at women endlessly, scarcity is unforgettable. The discipline of silence. Now, let's be clear. Silence isn't weakness. It's mastery. It's easy to explode in anger. Easy to send long texts. Easy to plead for another chance. Those are reflexes. But it takes strength to stay quiet. It takes discipline to let her words hang in the air, unanswered. It takes mastery to withhold the reaction she's begging for. That's why silence is so powerful. It proves you're in control of yourself. And once she sees she can't move you, she realizes she can't control you. Silence leaves the deepest mark. Think back on past arguments. Do you remember the exact words said? Probably not. The words fade. The details blur. But the silence? You remember the silence. The stillness after the storm. The absence after the chaos. The quiet after the noise. That's what lingers. And for women, it's the same. Words fade. Anger fades. But silence endures. The final truth. Silence dismantles manipulation. Silence builds respect. Silence flips the chase. And silence leaves an imprint no argument ever could. It isn't cruelty. It isn't neglect. It's the clearest form of self-mastery. The refusal to feed chaos with your energy. And here's the paradox. Anger tells her she still matters. Begging tells her she still owns you. Explaining tells her she still controls you. But silence? Silence tells her she may no longer matter at all. And that is the loudest message of all. Because the man who goes silent proves one truth she can never forget. That he is untouchable. That he is unmovable. That he is in control of himself. And that silence will echo in her mind long after your words have been forgotten. Gentlemen, words fade. Emotions fade. But silence endures. And that's why silence is, and always will be, the loudest weapon a man can use.